Three, two, one. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Rose Reads. My name is Monroe Mann. Hello to you guys on YouTube. Hello to you guys on TikTok. Both of my batteries are nearly dead, so I have them both charging. And shortly, I hope I'll be able to put them both down. In any case, I need to go get the book because we're doing Rose Reads, right? Let me grab the book or the notes. Hold on one second. Oh, I'm trying to stretch. I got it. So we're going to continue where we were before, talking about the book Babystep Millionaires by Dave Ramsey. It's a good book. It's a little basic and common sense. It's not any fancy stuff, but it has some very interesting concepts, and we're going to continue to talk about them. What's up, CCC, and what's up, AJ? Good to see you guys. I left work today at 3:30 p.m., which was a first. Can't believe I actually got to leave while it was still light out, and I got home at 4:30, I think, or 4:45 or so. I mean, it was pretty awesome. So that's really good. All right. So the first note that I took. How much should your emergency fund have? So he says 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And I do think that is important to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses, but best case scenario is you've got a year. And what no books really talk about, but I believe is important, is to have 3 different tiers of emergency funds available. So, for example, you want to have about 2 months of cash, of expenses just saved up in cash. It's immediately available, immediately, right now. Then tier 2 is money that's going to take you maybe 1 to 5 days to get access to. So what is that? Like money in the stock market and money in treasury bonds and bills, depending on which ones you have. And then the third one, your third tier of your emergency fund, is money that's going to take you maybe a month to 3 months to get access to. And for that, you should probably have 6 months worth or so. And what are some examples of that? Certain treasury bills and bonds, it's going to take you some time to sell them. Real estate could be, but real estate is not really an emergency fund. It could be, but there's no guarantee that you can sell the property when you need it. But what you could be able to do is to get a home equity line of credit. But another example of something that's on a tier 3 of your emergency fund is I'm trying to think if maybe gold and silver. You're going to have to find the gold and silver. You're going to then have to get in the car, go to a pawn shop, negotiate with them. It's going to take you some time to actually get the cash for that. But the whole idea is you want to have 3 different tiers of emergency fund. Your first tier is immediately accessible. Your second tier you can get within about 7 days, and your third tier of emergency fund is something you can get access to in about a month to 3 months. Yeah, AJ, I'm also live on TikTok, so I have 2 people watching on TikTok. Hi to the 2 people on TikTok. And let me see what other. Hi, CC. I'm glad you're going to do some comments. Some pull-ups. Some comments. Mexican wants me to shout out your friend. I don't know what your friend's name is. AJ is saying, how's everything going? Uh, on my day off, I for the first part of the day, I did a lot of movie watching and TVs. Then I finally sat down around 5 o'clock and started doing a bunch of breakdiving stuff. I started getting a head start on taxes. I did a lot of the legal filings for all my companies for 2025 and all that stuff. And Ally said, I look like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know what Kip looks like, but he must be incredibly charming and attractive, because that's what I am. Who am I right now? Who am I? If you don't know, I'll sing the song and you'll know exactly who I am. Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark, do 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 do. Oh boy. You know, when I was in China in 2019, when I was living in Shanghai for my second time, that song was really popular. Thank you, AAA Aaron. He's calling me saying I'm very pretty. That Baby Shark song was really popular, and the song from Panic at the Disco, which was, you gotta have high, high hopes for a living. Blah, 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 and I'm gonna make a killing. And I'm gonna, gotta have high, high hopes. I love that song. Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. Hey, and now I look like Sid from Ice Age. Wow, I look like a lot of famous people now, apparently. All right, next quotation the note I took from the book, Babystep Millionaires by Dave Ramsey. Quote, you happen to money, it doesn't happen to you. Think about that. You happen to money, it doesn't happen to you. Since AAA loves my singing, I think you should follow me here on TikTok, follow me on YouTube. You happen to money, it doesn't happen to you. So you can make a rap out of it. Yo, you happen to money, money doesn't happen to you. Listen what I'm saying and you won't be so blue. And I think basically what he's talking about is you need to make intentional decisions about what you're doing with your money. Otherwise, you're just going to spend it immediately as it comes in every day. And there are a lot of books that are about this automatic millionaire. I think David Bach may have written that one or whatever. But the whole idea is you need to set up the automatic payroll deduction so that as soon as you get paid, money gets pulled out automatically that goes into your various investment accounts. And for me, I do it on a weekly basis. Some is on a daily basis. Some is on a bi-weekly. Some is on a monthly. The idea is constantly taking money out of your paycheck and putting it into savings and investments before you even have a chance to spend it. That's what it means. You happen to money. It doesn't happen to you. UA Paul on TikTok says, God loves me. Thank you. Am I a Trump supporter in general? Thanks, Trin, for following me. My doctorate is in psychology. So that's what I try to bring to these YouTubes and TikToks is not only some inspiration, but some psychology, some legal perspectives, some financial perspectives, a little bit of humor, a little bit of singing, and all that stuff. Are you wearing that sweater in an ethical Kane way or the Republican way? I have no idea what you're talking about, Linda. Linda, you are confusing me. You are confusing me. All right. Hey, Clover. Long time no see, Clover Connor. Why do I only have one like on TikTok? I mean, on YouTube. Come on, AJ. Come on, Clover. Come on, Joey. Come on, Alal. Come on, Cece. Let's get it. Double tap the screen on YouTube and on TikTok, and let's get a few likes here. AJ, well, AJ, you're the only one who liked, apparently, because there's only one like. It's really annoying. Hi, Ryan Kim. Can you please click like? All right, next. Invest 15% of your pre-tax income into retirement savings. 25% in growth, 25% in aggressive growth, 25% in growth and income, and 25% in international. That's just his suggestion for where you should allocate your investments. But think about it, 15%. And that's even low. Some people put up to 20%. Some people put 25% of their income into investments. And some of you may not have steady jobs. Maybe you work at gig jobs, or maybe you're unemployed, this or that. You just change it based on the situation that you're in. When I was unemployed, I was not investing as much as I was now that I am. And if I end up being unemployed again, you just change it. So when you're making more money, you invest more. When you're making less money, you invest less. But you always invest every single week, every single month, every single year. You cannot stop investing. Thank you, Patty Boots, for subscribing to me on TikTok. I'm becoming a star on TikTok. But the truth is, we need to see first when my followers on TikTok exceed my followers on YouTube, then we'll know what's going on here on TikTok. Thank you guys. We got 4 likes. Thanks, Ryan Kim, for typing. Thanks, Joey Smacked. You just subbed. All right, I'm not going to say the other part, Joey, but appreciate the sub part. AJ, don't say I'm a delivery driver still, unfortunately. One of my really good friends here in this building, he's an Uber delivery driver. And he is living in the exact same building I am, this horribly expensive building that is overpriced, and you don't get what you're paying for. But he makes a good living as a delivery driver. Or he's not doing delivery, he's delivering people, right? That's what he's doing. So thanks, Bengals, for liking and subbing. Good morning, Angel. Joey says, I listened to this guy and now I'm homeless. You didn't listen to me long enough. Okay. The next note from the book, Babystep Millionaires by Dave Ramsey. The secret sauce to building wealth. They actually invest. They don't just talk about it, and they never stop investing. Every month, every year, every decade. That's exactly what I'm just talking about. I started to really, really start investing around 2016. I am ashamed that it took me that long. So it was basically 10 years ago that I really started to save money and invest money. And I got so good at being careful with where I spend my money and saving it, investing it. Even with my savings and investings every month, my checking account just keeps going higher and higher because I don't spend money. And that's certainly not something to brag about because money is there to be spent. What kind of life are you living if all you're doing is being a Scrooge McDuck, an Uncle Scrooge, and just miserly, is that a word? Miserly hoarding riches. Doesn't make sense. But on the other hand, I'd rather be a hoarder of money than be a spendthrift who spends more than I make every single month. Think about the stress. Who has more stress? The person who spends so much money every month, they make $3,000 a month, but they're spending $4,000 every month. Or the person who makes $2,000 a month, but only spends $1,000 a month. The second person has a much easier financial life. And that second person, I would argue, is richer and more wealthy. What's up, Gina? Hi, Lime. I am not your dad. I am not your dad. Thanks for following me, Chris C. Chris C's got a great beard. Mr. Chris C here on TikTok. I'm just letting you know, you guys on YouTube, I wish you could see Chris C's beard because I wish I could grow a beard like Chris C because beautiful. All right, next. You can probably just buy index funds and forget it. Again, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm reading notes that I took from the book Babystep Millionaires by Dave Ramsey. This show that I do is called Rose Reads. I read books, take notes, and I share them with you and share my insight. And if you don't know what an index fund is, it's something very easy. You can buy it on the stock market, but it's a collection of stocks. And those stocks completely get rebalanced every day, every week, every month based on whether the criteria are still met. And the most popular 3 index funds are SPY, the S&P 500, DIA, they call them diamonds, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and QQQ, which is the NASDAQ. If you just take your money and put $10 into the SPY, $10 into the S&P 5, into the DIA, and $10 into the QQQ, and you do that every day or every week or every month, that's probably one of the smartest investments that you can make, and it doesn't really require much thinking. Just set it up and make it automatic. Let me see. Skylar Schroeder got the #1 viewer badge. Thank you, Skylar. Skylar says the person spending $1,000 a month in 2026 is in a fairy tale. Skylar, you're assuming that everybody lives in the Western world. So, first of all, my example was just an example, and I use easy numbers to make it easier to understand. But secondly, when I was in China, I basically spent $1,000 a month. My rent cost about $500 US per month. Eating out cost about $100 per month. My food, the subway cost about like $25 US a month. And, if I needed to get a shirt, maybe $50, $100. So the person spending $1,000 a month, Skylar, is probably most of the people in the world. So keep that in mind. Most people in the world spend less than $1,000 a month because they don't live in the Western part of the world. Okay. Let me see the comments here on YouTube. Yes, AJ, you are a deliverer of people. And what's up, Cash Bandit? I haven't seen you in a long time either. Great to see you there. We got 7 likes here. Fantastic here on YouTube. We're almost at 10 likes, which is the bronze medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. AJ says, do you have the premium version of Bookly? Yeah, I bought the annual subscription for like $12. By the way, if any of you want to be inspired to read, you can follow me on Instagram. Basically, the only thing I post is my reading progress and all the various books I'm reading. And for $12, you can get the premium version of an app called Bookly. And it's super inspiring. And AJ, I think you should spend $12. If you're willing to foolishly gamble all that money on the Seahawks, I think you can afford to spend $12 to buy the premium version of Bookly, which is a really great app to inspire you to read. All right, next, with investments averaging 10%, a lump sum invested into the SPY, for example, will double every 7 years. So let's say if you started with 10,000, it would be 20,000 in 7 years. It would be 40,000 in total of 14 years. And then it would be 28,000 in 21 years. Just keep investing. Oh, and your dad says my toes double every year. Now that is fantastic. That's a problem though, because it means you have to also get brand new shoes every single year. If you've got 10 shoes, 10 toes, then you've got 20 toes, then 40 toes, 80 toes. I mean, after about 4 years, you're really having a difficult time. Lukey says, this live features a special needs host. That's me. I'm a special needs host. Please, respect and kindness are expected. Thank you so much for looking out for me. Thanks for looking out for me. Thank you guys for following me here on TikTok, and thanks for subscribing here on YouTube. And Joey Smack says Automatic Millionaire is a good book. Yeah, I've read pretty much every single finance book out there. There are very few that I have not read. And Automatic Millionaire is kind of one of the ones that started the trend of this automatic investing. AJ says, I don't spend money because I know I'll need it in the future. Now, but the thing is about, if you're constantly, this is the what's the word? Not the enigma. This is the contradiction. We need to save up lots of money so we have money in an emergency, so we have money for retirement. But what if you died in next week and you saved up $1 million and you didn't get to live or enjoy any of it because you just saved money all the time? So, and this is sort of the problem that I'm in right now. I've become really good at saving and investing, but I don't spend money. And I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to. I just read the book, The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel, which has been helpful. I'm going to do a Rose Reads on that sometime later this year. But just as important as investing, saving and investing is, also spending money is important. What's the point of saving up money? There's another great book called Die with Zero. The whole idea is that you should die with zero money. You should, it's impossible. But ideally, you should spend all of it and then die. Why are you saving, as it says in the Bible? Jesus says you cannot, why store your treasures on earth when you can store your treasures in heaven? So what's the point of just saving massive amounts of money and then you never use it? But if you take that to the extreme, you're that person I just talked about who makes $3,000 a month but spends $4,000 a month. That's not living. That's stressful. You're living on the seat of your pants, and if you suddenly lose your job or your source of income, you are in big, big trouble. Lulu says, wouldn't I want to? Wouldn't I want to what? I have no idea what you're talking about, Lulu. You're going to have to explain that to me. Let me get some comments on YouTube. Lone Wolf says, is the QQQ going down? The SPY and the QQQ, the DIA, they go up and down constantly. There's a thing called dollar cost averaging. I just buy the same amount of all three of them every week or month. I don't care what it is because I know in the long term it's going up. It's either going up significantly in the next 15 years, or the United States has collapsed as a country. And if the United States has collapsed as a country, we've all got bigger problems to deal with around the entire world. So my bet is on the United States not collapsing. And if the United States is not collapsing, then huzzah, I'm just going to keep putting money into these index funds. Do I buy regular stocks as well too? Sure. Absolutely. If there's a particular stock that you like, there's a great book called One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. It's a great book that teaches you how to pick stocks. And it's written in a very easy, beginner-friendly way. But even if you understand a lot about finance and money and investing, you'll still find it very helpful. It's very accessible for everybody. Joey says, I spend $4,500 a month. It's diabolical. Clover says, my car payment is high. Something about car payments, I'll say this. A lot of people say, oh, it makes more sense to lease a car. The only reason it makes more sense to lease a car is if you're one of those people that needs to have a new car every 3 years. I bought my Jeep Wrangler in 2009. I have 106,000 miles on it now. It's still running. It still is great. It's fully paid off. I paid it off probably, 10 years ago. And so all I have to do is save up money every month for repairs. But those repairs every month or every year are far less than it would be for me to buy a brand new car. So I'm basically going to drive this Jeep Wrangler until it's driven into the ground. And again, one of the things he talks about in The Art of Spending Money is he says you cannot be somebody who just spends massive amounts of money on everything. What's up, Aaron? You have to pick and choose and say, you know what? Let's say I really love books and I really love going out to the movies. So I'm going to spend money on books and movies all the time. And, for example, I really love expensive baseball caps. I don't, but let's just say. Then if those are the three things that you really love to spend money on, then that's fine. But then you need to avoid spending money in other places to make sure you have enough money to spend on the things that you really want. The problem is when you just spend money all of the time and you don't even think about it. So you need to make a list. What are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I always want to spend lots of money on? For me, I will fly economy if I'm going like from New York to Florida. I don't mind 2 hours. But if I'm flying 6 hours on a plane or 13 hours going to Asia, I want to be in premium economy. And so I save up money specifically so that and it's usually double the money. So if a flight to Shanghai economy is 1,000, these days premium economy is 2,000. I want to fly premium economy if I can. So I'm willing to spend more money there, but when I get there, I will stay in a hotel that is not fancy. I don't need to stay in a fancy hotel. And so those are the trade-offs that I make. And same thing, I don't need to have a fancy new car. But because I don't need a fancy new car, and I don't buy a new car every year, my iPhone, I use iPhone SE. This TikTok phone is an iPhone SE, and this one is an iPhone SE. $400. Some people every 2 months buy a brand new iPhone 15, 16, 17, and it's like, you know what? I don't need to spend $2,000 on a phone. So guess what? Bye, Aaron. Hope you guys will follow me. Thanks for subscribing here on YouTube as well. So you're going to pick and choose where you want to spend like crazy. And then however much it is, let's say $2,000 a month, you need to make sure that you rein in your spending elsewhere so that you capture $2,000 so that at the end of every month, you are not spending more than you have. Let me look at some more comments. Clover wants to be an airborne ranger. Airborne ranger. That was a march that we did in basic training called Airborne Ranger. Your eye is scratched. I'm sorry about that, Clover. AJ says, am I wrong for saving for not investing? AJ, you're not wrong for saving but not investing. It's good that you're saving, but what you should be doing is saving part of your money and investing part of your money. You got to be doing both at the same time. AJ, I make about 3,000, spend 900. AJ, that's fantastic. Keep it up. That's fantastic. How much do you have on S&P 500? A decent amount. Let's just say that, AJ. A decent amount. Bill has 21,000 shares of July. What's July? Are they now trading months on Kalshi? All right, moving on. If your emergency fund, again, these are notes from me reading the book Babystep Millionaire by Dave Ramsey. If your emergency fund gets wiped out, you need to pause and replenish that first before returning to investing. I've always disagreed with this. Thanks, Aaron, for following me. I've always disagreed with the financial advice that you need to save up your emergency fund before you start investing. No, I would say, so Paul Rudd, how are you? Saving is fun. I like saving, but investing is more fun. I would say if you want to save and invest at the same time and you're concerned, what's up, Michael? And you can save 50% and then invest 50% into these index funds, S&P 500, QQQQ, DIA, and or do 30% savings, 30% maybe 40% savings, 40% the index funds. You got 20% that you can play around with individual stocks. The whole idea is that, again, if you really need, things are changing too now. It used to be that if it was Friday, you couldn't buy and sell. I mean, if it was Saturday, Sunday, but some of the markets have 24-hour markets now and you're able to buy and sell this and that. But the whole thing is you want to make sure that you have at least 1 month of expenses in regular liquid cash savings. Why? You can't count on the market selling and you getting access to your cash. You can't count on being able to sell your house in a week. You can't count on selling treasury bonds or treasury notes in a week. To be honest, you can't count on being able to access your money in the bank, even if it's in a savings account, in a week. you want to keep some cash handy. You want to keep some physical gold handy, just in case. I'm not saying a lot, but God, what if you cannot go to the ATM? What if the ATM doesn't work? What if you log on to your bank and you're trying to transfer money and you can't transfer money from your savings account and you need it immediately? What if Zelle doesn't work? You need to have various tiers of savings account. That's what I'm saying. You need immediately accessible. You need accessible within a day or two. You need accessible within a week. You need accessible within 1 to 3 months. Different tiers of savings to make sure that you are protected and so that you're not going to be caught, for lack of a better term, with your financial pants down. and what else we got? AJ's asking, how long do you think the government's going to stay shut down? I don't know. One thing I'm very angry about in general is I don't think Congress should be able to. If Congress did not get paid during the shutdown, these shutdowns would not last as long as they do. It's not cool that the government, the congressional reps who make the laws are able to evade the government shutdown. You know, they should be, everybody who works for the government should be in the same boat. When is it going to end? I don't know. Hype the Hype says, is bro the next Dave Ramsey? Not Dave Ramsey was last year's Monroe Mann. Let me tell you. Oh yeah. Hype the Hype says, just invest it all in crypto or go gambling. Both of those are not good pieces of advice from Hype. I think you should put some of it into crypto, a small percentage. And if you have a little fun money, go out and gamble, but don't gamble with money expecting to leave with that money. And don't put the money in crypto that you need for rent, because that's going to be a big disaster. Thanks, Clover Connor, for the nice. It says Clover wrote, this guy is a really great motivational speaker. Thank you so much. And Hype the Hype says 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. Do you know why they quit before they win big? Because they've lost all their money. They've already lost all their money. What's up, James? Sarah? I will not talk about your friend. Sorry, James. I'm not stupid. Clover wants $1,000 in her pocket right now. Check your pocket. Is there $1,000 in there? I think there is. AJ says, what about putting a down payment on a house and then renting it to someone? So that's a whole other topic, and I'll go into it in more depth on another live stream. But very briefly, the amount of the down payment that you put down is going to determine whether you can be profitable from renting it from someone. So let's say you put zero down, and there are zero down loans that are available, but there are some conditions attached. But let's just say you put zero down. The mortgage is going to be extremely high every month. In most cases, if you put $0 down, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to rent it and cover the mortgage. Let's say it's a $200,000 condo and you put $100,000 down. Now you only have a mortgage of $100,000, and the mortgage is going to be much, much lower. Maybe you'll break even, make $100, $200, $300 a month. Better is if you can put 60 to 100% down. Now, again, this is in our current mortgage market where the mortgage rates are, 5-6%. Back in the late 2018, 2019, man, mortgage rates were 2%. And I knew nothing about finance really back then with mortgages and real estate. I wish I had bought massive real estate back then, because with a 2% mortgage rate, you can easily make a profit by renting it. So AJ, that's the biggest thing that you need to worry about is if you buy, you have to look at the mortgage and the other expenses. There are repair costs. You got to add them all up and go, this is what I need to make per month to break even. And then the amount that you rent it for, the market has to bear that amount or higher. Otherwise, you're going to be losing money every single month. And the idea with rental real estate is that the tenant pays for the mortgage and pays for you to build equity in the property. Let me see, are there any comments here on TikTok? Nope, none on TikTok, but thank you for everyone who follows me here on TikTok. My name is Monroe Mann, YouTube and TikTok #1 live streamer, comedy, music, improv, psychology, law, inspiration, motivation, and all that jazz. And by the way, you can watch my TEDx talks on YouTube. Search for YouTube Monroe Mann TEDx. Search TEDx Monroe Mann. What says Arkansas? You says I know you saw my comment. Nope, I did not. All I saw is the comment that you just shared right now. So I don't know what you're talking about. All right, what do we got here? What do you think of Anthropic going public this year? That's interesting. If I know correctly, then Anthropic is one of those AI companies. That would be, if you have some adventurous investment money. When I say adventurous, meaning you don't want to put your life, most of your investments into a stock that is going public because you don't know what's going to happen with it. But now that I know that Anthropic is going to go public this year, I'll probably put some money into it because I have a feeling it'll probably go up. I think any of these AI companies are likely to go up in value. And 76 per share went down. I lost it all. Bad, AJ. That's right, Hype. Sports betting is a huge waste. Thank you, Hype. Please tell AJ that constantly because all he does is keep investing in stupid things on Kalshi. Guys, don't put your money on Kalshi. Put your money in the S&P 500. It's not sexy. It's not fun. But I guarantee you will have considerably more money in a year than you have today than if you put it right into betting, sports betting. You're probably going to lose most of it. And if you manage to double it, it's because of luck. And you're very likely to lose all of it soon because you get overconfident. And what's up, Good Cat? Good Cat says, it's weird to me that things like DraftKings are even legal. There's no gambling here in Texas, but you can just hop online and do it. Yeah. I think all of these online betting sites are, I don't know why they are allowed. And it's really terrible. I also think that some of these casinos, like you should have to pledge how much you're going to play up front. And that's it. Like that's $500 and then you cannot add more money. I know it's against the casino's business model, but I think the casino's business model is pretty terrible because they destroy so many people's lives by people who are unable to control themselves, and they get greedy and they think, oh no, but the next time I'm going to be lucky. Come on. I mean, these people are crazy. It's weird looking at me on both of these. It's like there's two people and they're slightly different angles because this TikTok phone is higher than the YouTube phone. And it's like there's two different Monroes and the lighting is a little bit slightly different. All right. How are you? What's up, Uncle Dave? I salute you, Uncle Dave. And let me see what we got here. AJ says, I won the Seahawks game and deleted the app. Good, AJ. That's fantastic. Oh, I have the best idea. And I hope the people at Apple, and yes, I missed you, Aaron. I hope the people at Apple and Google listen to this great idea. You guys tell me how great of an idea this is. All of us have apps that we don't want to use very often. And they have these things called like screen time on iPhone. But it's so easy to override it. You just click 15 more minutes, whatever. You should be able to go onto the website. Like you should only be able to set the restrictions on the website. And then you can't make those changes on the phone. Because when you're in the middle of actually using whatever the game is or watching Netflix or whatever, your adrenaline is running and you're just going to say, oh, let's just snooze it for 15 minutes. How many of you have done that? How much better is like, you may not, it says, no, you've used your 15 minutes. If you want to change it, you've got to go onto the web. And then like on the web, like they just should make it so much more difficult to use some of these apps. Because you mentioned you downloaded the app, but you can just download it again and sign in. What I would recommend you do, AJ, is delete the password and username from your keychain and ideally go log back in one more time to Kalshi and delete your account. Because then it's going to take you time to set it up again and to connect your bank account and add money and all that. AJ says betting got introduced in the 1800s. AJ, betting has been around forever. Betting didn't just come around in the 1800s. I bet there were people betting on whether the United States or England was going to win the American Revolution. Yeah, good cat. Those loot boxes, just terrible. There we go, AJ, 2000 BC. Yeah, he went from the 1800s to 2000 BC. I'm glad you corrected that. Nathan says, if the S&P keeps going up over the next 20 years, doesn't it mean that the economy will have to grow a great deal more than it already has, therefore creating a bigger bubble? A bubble only is created if the economic gains are not supported by actual increases in productivity and output. But the S&P 500 has been increasing because it's linked to 500 companies who are actually creating products and services that are tangible, that are growing. A bubble is like a Ponzi scheme. A bubble happens when like prices keep going up, but there's no real reason. Like in many ways, Bitcoin is proving to have been a bubble. It went up to 126,000. Now it's back down to 70 or even lower than that right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it will keep going up. But the idea is that the Bitcoin craze isn't based on anything tangible. It's based on what people might think it will do in the future, whereas the S&P 500 is actually based on what are the values of these companies based on what they're actually producing. AJ says every Sunday would show me my screen time. What's up, Angel? Proto Work says, how long is I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're being really naughty. I think Proto Works on YouTube is being really naughty. So for you guys on YouTube, you guys on TikTok, you should be really grateful right now that you're not watching me on YouTube because there's a really naughty viewer. I got to say, I'm looking very handsome right now. The lighting is really good. My hair is looking really good. Dressed really nicely. Yeah. Loose Gun says, I look like a cricket coach from Liverpool, England. Oh, do I? All right, boys, we're going to get out of here on the pitch here. And I want to see everything you guys, you got to give it your all. My name. Now I'm talking like from the South. I kind of changed my accent. It's Drew Brees. G'day. Hello. Hello. G'day. Hello. G'day. Hello. G'day. All right, let me move on for a little bit more. We're going to do a few more of these quotes. The dog is looking at me and wants something. And save for your children's college fund. If you guys have kids now, and this year in the United States, there's things called the Trump fund or the Trump accounts, which is a brilliant thing. So that if your baby is born something like today, you get $1,000 or $5,000 or something automatically deposited by the federal government and private companies who are funding these into these Trump accounts. And the idea is if you put in $5,000 per year into this Trump account every year for your kid, by the time they're 25 years old, it's more than $1 million. So that is amazing. So any of you guys who have kids, create an investment account for them now. And you can do a custodial account of some sort. You can do these Trump accounts and try to put it in the S&P 500, $5,000 a year. Boom. Your kid is going to be a millionaire by the time they get out of college, even if they're super, super dumb. Something else he's pointing out, Dave Ramsey in Babystep Millionaires, he says, most millionaires have a paid off home. So think about that. Why do they have a paid off home? They invested wisely and realized if I have a paid off home, my housing costs go down dramatically. If your housing costs go down dramatically, guess what? Now you can put more money into the S&P 500 and other investments. My mom and dad had a paid off home. And I think a lot of kids do this. I was talking to my friend recently too. He's a viewer on here. I'm not going to say his name because it's private information. But when his parents passed away, his parents had a paid off home, and the kids sold that too. And with my mom and my dad, I was caring for both of them with Alzheimer's, and it was very stressful. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I ended up selling a paid off home. In many ways, I regret it because the value of that home has gone up a lot. And if I still had that now, I wouldn't be living in an apartment, and I would just have a easy payment of about $1,000 a month for the taxes. But alas, I did not do that. But all of you should be striving to potentially get a paid off home. A, you can rent it. B, you can just live in it and you are only responsible for taxes and the upkeep of the house, which if you plan ahead and save a little bit every month, like we're talking about, being, money doesn't happen to you, you happen to your money. You have to be the person who takes control of your finances. And then he says, finally, build wealth and give. So think about that. Think about that. That is a nice target for what you should be doing. Get out of debt. Number one, get out of debt and stop spending on stupid things. Number one. Number two, start investing and saving up money, building your emergency fund, building up your savings accounts and your investment accounts. Three, start to become wealthy enough where you have more money than you know what to do with. And then four, start giving it away. Start helping other people. And there have been many studies that have shown that even if you're not making a lot of money, if you can find it within you to give away some of your money to people less fortunate, you feel better about your life and you feel better about how much money you're making and you feel less greedy. So the next time I try not to give money just to people, to homeless people, but if someone is standing outside a restaurant and saying, hey, could you help me get some food? And I say, hey, come on in with me. And I will take them in with me to Taco Bell or McDonald's or wherever. And I say, what do you want? And what does it cost me? $5, $10, $15? But this way, it's money it's actually going to feed somebody rather than feed their drug addiction or their alcohol problem. Don't just give money to people. Don't give money to homeless people. Give them actual things they can use. There was a homeless guy at the local church here over Christmas, and I ended up talking to him, and it was getting super cold. And his shoes were falling apart. And so I bought him a pair of shoes. I asked, what's your size? It was 13. I had to return them because the ones that I got were too small. We had to get a size 14. But I felt good that I actually gave him a pair of winter shoes that he could wear. And rather than giving him $60, do you really think he would go to the store and go buy shoes? Maybe. But me buying it on Amazon and then just bringing it over him, much easier. A little exercise he gives, and maybe this is something I'll do for my TikTok and YouTube one of these days. It says, take a $50 bill and then write out a piece of paper, keep going, and then put it under the windshield wiper of a beat up car. He goes, you will feel rich and feel so good about yourself. So I'm thinking maybe I could do that and also videotape it and then maybe keep an eye on the car. So when they come back and they look and they go, that could be cool. All right. Let me see here. We've got some more comments here. I'm trying to catch up with these comments here. On Jacob says, how do I get rich like you? I don't consider myself rich, but I'm pretty good with money. So I would, if you want to learn how to manage your money and this and that and your investments, just keep watching me. Follow me here on TikTok. And Hype the Hype says, do you think there'll be another meme stock in the next 5 years like GameStop? It could be, but how are you going to know? I mean, it's really luck of the draw. You know, it's hard to go out. How many people after the GameStop incident or, bubble, that was a bubble. How many people joined Reddit and tried to find, what's, and this is why you got to be careful, because you get in these WhatsApp group and these trading groups. There are these people they call them pump and dump. And you're like, oh, hey, you should buy this stock. And all they're doing is they want people to buy it so the price goes up so that they can sell it and make off like a bandit. Thank you, Empty. Gave me a rose. Thank you for sending me a rose. I want to drink from the fires. Yeah, I thought you were my doctor. Empty, actually, I am your doctor. I'm giving you a prescription for a good financial checkup. So listen to what I'm saying. But I'm thinking maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe one of these days I'll get like $20 bills and I'll start giving them out to random people. That might be fun to do here on TikTok. AJ's asking me on YouTube, when was the last time you gambled? I'm gambling right now. I'm spending 52 minutes on TikTok on YouTube, hoping that I'm going to get some subscribers, hoping that I'm going to inspire some people, hoping I'm going to educate some people, hoping that maybe I'll make some money. I think Empty just sent me a rose, which I think is worth maybe 1 penny. Thank you. I'm investing that in the S&P 500. Hi, baby. Good to see you there. What's up? Hi, Drew Breeze. Pipe the Hype says, bro looks like a role model. I don't look like one. I am one. Duck Bro says, bro wants to be a millionaire so bad. WTF. And who doesn't want to be a millionaire? And as I was talking about last week, what is a millionaire? A millionaire is just someone who has $1 million worth of assets. I'm almost a millionaire. I have to add everything up. I think I would be, quote, a millionaire in maybe 5 years, if everything keeps going at the rate that it's going. Empty's asking if I'm a doctor. I have a PhD in psychology, so technically I'm Dr. Mann, but I'm not a medical doctor. And $50 is too much. AJ, yeah, absolutely. Putting $1 under a windshield means you have to start somewhere. Let me ask any of you, all of you on YouTube and all of you on TikTok, if you went back to your car or your apartment or your locker, if you're in high school or middle school or elementary school or college, and there was just $1 bill taped there, wouldn't you be excited? If I came home to my apartment and there's $1 bill just stuck on the door, I would be happy even if there were a quarter on the door or a penny. I'd be like, cool. penny. Why did somebody give this to me? I think that's pretty neat. So AJ, if you can put a dollar on people's windshields, I think you will still touch people. And you know what? You've actually inspired me. Maybe instead of $20, I could do $5. Why $5? Because then I have many more options to continue to do this for many people. Instead of $50, you do $5. I could do it to 10 people, 10 different people. On Empty on TikTok is asking, what would you think if you heard of a 29-year-old is a millionaire with stock? Well, there's no such thing as stock bonds. There are stocks and there are bonds. So what would I think if I heard a 20-year-old is a millionaire with stock bonds? Something's illegal. Something illegal is going on. Which country will win the World Cup? Of course, it's going to be the United States because we always win the World Cup. AJ says, I was looking at your Instagram and I saw the cat trying to get up. Eventually, the cat got up after trying so hard. Yeah, AJ, 100%. That really inspired me. If you know what AJ's talking about, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Monroe Mann 77. And what's going on here? TikTok. Hold on. TikTok's trying to shut me down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Monroe Mann 77, and you can find this cat video that I wrote, that I posted. Not mine, I just reposted it, but it's so inspiring. This little kitten did not give up, and it took like 3 minutes, but it finally got up the wall and back to its mother. It was really, really inspiring. Now, Empty says, you wouldn't think it's not a thrust fund, baby. It's a trust fund, baby. Trust. This guy Empty on TikTok says, you wouldn't think that this person's a thrust fund, baby? A thrust fund. What's a thrust fund? I don't even want to talk about that, what a thrust fund is. But if somebody has, no, there are a lot of 29-year-old millionaires who have stock options and stocks. A lot of the people who work at Spotify or Google who joined maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they probably got $1 million worth of stock after they've been there for so long. Yeah, Empty. You know, your name is appropriate, Empty, because your brain seems to be empty. You can't spell at all. I love you, though, and I hope you'll follow me here. AJ says, what if someone left some snacks? Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. AJ says, you can pay for people's drinks behind you in Starbucks drive-thru. Yeah, absolutely. You can do something like that. Or you can, you know what I've never understood? How does that work? If you don't know how much the person behind you is going to pay, how can you pay for it? The only way that you could do that is if you give an extra $20 in cash and say, hey, put this $20 towards the next guy's bill. But here's the thing, you don't even know if they're going to do it. Maybe the person will just pocket it at Starbucks and go, what an idiot. And the next guy comes and they charges him anyway. That's why you got to do it in person. It's like, hey, I want to pay for this person's groceries, or hey, I want to pay for this person's, and make sure you actually see the money go towards that person's groceries. All right, we'll do a few more quotations and then I'm going to head off to bed. This is a quote, again, this is a notes from Babystep Millionaires by Dave Ramsey. Being a millionaire today is not a billionaire. You are not living lavishly. Think about that. A millionaire 25 years ago is very different than a millionaire today. Why? Because of inflation. Inflation has skyrocketed. So $1 million 25 years ago is probably worth like $5 million today, $10 million today. All you need to do is get, what's up, Kimmy? I don't know if that's the Kimmy that I know, but anyway, Empty says it's not the first time I heard that. You can become a millionaire relatively simply. Not easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. Just get $1 million worth of stocks, real estate, bonds, savings, crypto, whatever it is. If you want to be a millionaire, that's what you need to do. It's very, very positive. I read something recently that's like every year in America, I forget what the number is, like it's like 30,000 new 501k millionaires are created. Like those are people who have more than $1 million in their retirement accounts from the jobs where they work. It's not as far-fetched as it used to be. Every single one of you can become a millionaire. Just keep putting money away, spend less than you earn, and put a bunch of your money, at least 15 to 20% every single month, into retirement. Now, Empty says, is it worth it though? And Empty, maybe you were not here before when I was talking about the contradiction, and it's laid out in the book Die with Zero. And there's another one, Die Broke, kind of the same concept. Too many people save up for retirement and then they die before they even got to retire. Or they save up retirement, but their 25 years leading up to retirement are absolutely miserable. And as I mentioned before, what I'm working on is, because I've been really good at saving and investing, is now I need to learn how to spend money. For the last 10 years, I was caring for my dad with Alzheimer's, then my mom. And my mission was conserve money. Make sure there's enough money for my mom and my dad. I thought my mom passed away 2 months ago. It's still a shock. I'm impressed that I haven't started crying at all during this live stream. I thought my mom was going to live. She was 77, and aside from Alzheimer's, she was in really good health. She didn't take any medication at all. And I thought she was going to live to be 85 or 90, and she didn't. And so I did such a good job of saving and investing her money that there was a lot left over. Do I feel guilty about that? 100%. I feel terrible but it's hindsight is 2020. I didn't know that my mom was only going to live an extra 4 years. And then I talked about, selling our lake house up in Maine. If I had known that my mom was only going to be here another 4 years, I would have sold it. But I made the decision I did at the time based on the situation that I was in. Thank you, Empty. I appreciate that. Thanks, Brandon, for your kind words. But as you said, you have to find that balance between saving for tomorrow and living for today. And it's not easy. It is extremely difficult to find that balance. And, when you lose somebody, and especially in my situation where I lost somebody very suddenly, it makes you realize, and that's why I was saying I need to learn how to spend money too, because I can't just live investing and saving. I'm super proud of myself, and I'm glad that my mom, I'm trying not to cry. I'm glad that my mom died and there was money in the bank. How terrible. I mean, every week I was stressed out going, and you guys like Mr. Good Cat and AJ, you guys know how I've been struggling for years, thinking out, I got to manage my mom's money. I got to figure out how best to ensure that she doesn't run out of money, because that was scaring me like crazy. And look at that. All of my anxiety was for nothing, quote unquote. What's up, Tucker? Welcome back. And that's what you guys need to do, is figure out, you have to find a happy medium. You can't hoard all your money like Scrooge McDuck. You cannot spend all your money like a crazy teenager. You have to figure out, I need to save enough for the future, but I need to live my life well now. I need to be a millionaire when I retire, and I need to live like a millionaire today. And you got to figure out, how can I do both? How can I do both? Let me look at the comments on YouTube. This was the last week where I kept going, and I did get charged. I think anyone who lives with their parents have a huge opportunity to save. Yeah, AJ said, I think anyone who lives with their parents has a huge opportunity to save. If any of you can live with your parents, think of it as a blessing. When I say if you can put up with your parents, live with them as long as you can. I lived with my mom as long as I could until her Alzheimer's started to get so bad. For my own sanity, I couldn't live with her anymore. I kept her close. We were always in an apartment right next door to each other. After she passed away, I used to live in this apartment right over there. And then I moved over here. Now I'm in her old apartment, which is my apartment. Hi, Wind. Nice to see you again. Brandon says, I'm sorry. My mother was born in Maine. Wow, Brandon, where was your mom born in Maine? Hype the Hype asks on YouTube, do you think education level has a significant impact on how much money you make? Yes. Yes. But that education doesn't have to come from a traditional school. On the other hand, are there athletes and musicians and and what other mostly actors and musicians and models who just stumble upon wealth and income? Yes. But have you ever noticed 95% of NBA players, after like 3 years after they've left the NBA, they're broke because they never learned about money. So you can make lots of money without being educated, but you cannot keep your money and grow your money without being educated. And education can come from just reading books or watching me here on YouTube Live and TikTok. And AJ on YouTube's asking, it was tough. I hear you, 18 months of not being employed. It was, but honestly, I am so glad that I was unemployed for those 18 months because I got to spend 18 amazing months with my mom. And if I had a full-time job down in Miami Beach down there during that time, I would have been an absent son. And my mom and I had some amazing times together. We saw so many great movies. We did a lot of nice traveling. And we ate at a lot of nice restaurants. And we went on a lot of great walks. We went swimming at the pool. So I don't regret it one bit. And YouTube and TikTok, The Wind says, hey, man. Empty says, we really just have today. I might not make it tonight. I have no idea what you're... Oh, are you feeling bad, Empty? What do you mean? What do you mean you may not make it tonight? You will make it. If I can survive the most horrible thing that's ever happened to me, then... And I'm still getting through it. I mean, I was at work today for a half an hour at work in front of my computer screen. I was crying. And while I'm typing away... I was thinking about my mom and missing her so much. Thank you for liking the live, The Wind. We got 293 likes on TikTok. We have 15 on YouTube. The silver medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. And Ricky says, you look like a cranky British guy. Hello. Good morning, Governor. Lots of people are not motivated enough to get educated. You are so right. And I think those people are fools. I think every single one of you who's watching me on TikTok or YouTube is an incredibly intelligent and smart person because you don't learn what I teach at school. You don't learn it at college. Most of your parents don't teach it. I mean, my mom and dad, my dad was, I call him an oblivious genius. He was an incredible attorney, and some years he'd made like 250, 300,000 a year. And I tried to ask him, how do you do it? How can I be a great attorney like you? How can I be a rainmaker? How can I attract clients? He had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea how he got clients. He had no idea how he made money. And so my dad was always making $1 that I make six figures, and a six. This is the first time I'll do a whole bunch of stuff talking about that. It's very nice. My financial stress has diminished greatly. Doesn't make me much happier. And you just any of you who are unhappy because you feel like you're not making the money that you're worth, I promise you that if you start to make the money you're worth, it's not going to magically make you feel great. Granted, I got this six-figure job basically at the same time I lost my mom. So maybe there's obviously a correlation there. I'm feeling terrible because I lost my mom, and maybe I can't feel any of the joy about, making a really good income. But money's not the be all and end all. And we talked about this too. Before in Miami Beach, I didn't make a lot of money, and because I was unemployed, and I was just doing odd attorney jobs, and doing coaching and stuff. And just don't get me wrong, I was unemployed, but I was making money. But it wasn't a steady thing. Like even now, by the way, AJ, I'm still making money on Upwork. I still get clients from that, and it's funny, depending on what I'm doing. Like one person, I charge $50, someone else $200, and so I gotta. Oh no, but the higher clients are coming from Wisand. Anyway, Liv says, "Hi, Dylan. Hey, Colton. If you're still there, Liv. I don't know if you still are, but I appreciate you, Liv and Dylan and Colton, for stopping by and watching me." See if there are a few more comments here on TikTok. And oh, hype the hype. So you've done a Google search for me, huh? Yeah, I'm a Bronze Star nominated Iraq War veteran. I've been on a lot of TV talk shows. I've written 11 books, one of which was a Barnes & Noble #1 bestseller in the careers category. I speak English, Chinese, French, some Italian. I speak some German, some Spanish, and a smatterings of like 20 other languages. And I do have 2 TEDx talks. So if you search on YouTube for Monroe Mann TEDx, you'll find one I did at NYU and one I did at Jefferson University. WAP is asking, what's with these people who say that they're working their way up the corporate ladder or whatever? They don't give people a chance to get work anyway. They only hire people with experience. Well, WAP, here's an interesting thing. I mean, just my current situation. I'm 48 years old. I know I look a lot younger than 48, but it took me a long time to get this position. And I'm constantly debating. All of us are. All the people who are at the new job. I work as a lawyer. Get paid very well, but work long hours and don't have lots of free time anymore. And that's a big trade-off. It's like, is making lots of money worth giving up the freedom that I had? So I went from massive free time, but not making a lot of money, to lots of money, not having a lot of free time. But I'm finding time, because that's what winners do. And that's why I'm here. It's 10:45 and I'm doing my YouTube live, my TikTok live, and then getting ready for bed, waking up at 6:30 tomorrow morning, getting on the train and going to work. But this is what you need to. The question about the corporate ladder, and you asking about experience. You're right. You need experience, but that means you need to be willing to work your way up from the bottom. I mean, I became a lawyer. I worked as a public defender for 2 years. I worked as an immigration defense attorney for a year. I had private practice, my own clients for a long time. And then all of that together, finally, after I became a lawyer in 2011, so 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 15 years after I became a lawyer, I finally got a six-figure job as an attorney. It took me a long time. And what do they say? An overnight success takes 15 to 20 years. And from an attorney perspective, that's what it took me, 15 years. And now I'm making a good income as a lawyer. But even I question that because I haven't had a full-time job in more than like 10 years. And it's really weird for me to be back working 9 to 5 somewhere. Actually, it's working like 8 to 6. So you have to weigh these things. If you're not making a lot of money now, maybe it's a good thing because you got free time. And I told you, I'm grateful that I had all that free time these last year and a half because I had a great year and a half with Carolyn Mann, my mom, and it was fantastic. And I unfortunately, as some of you guys know, I lost her 2 months ago. And who would have thought that, that those last 18 months would have been the last 18 months that I would have had with her. AG said, what classes did I teach in college? I taught a lot of things. I taught psychology. I taught, I think, business, maybe marketing. It's been a while since I was teaching at college. And Andrew, hi, Andrew, how are you? AG says that's, yeah, I mean, I sometimes have people that pay me on Wyzant. My rate on Wyzant is 175 an hour, but some people pay me 200. And I help people with public speaking. I help people with career planning. I help people prep for the bar exam. I help people with law school and things like that. And so, and think about this. That's not even a lot. There are some people that get paid like $300 an hour. Or when I work as an attorney, I charge $350 an hour if I do private practice somewhere. Like if somebody comes to me and they need help with starting a business or something, then that's, I'll charge $350 because my time now is so precious. So hey, if you want me, that's fine, but it's gonna cost you. However, on YouTube, it only costs nothing for you guys to listen. Why? Because this is so much fun. I love public speaking. I love teaching. I love helping people. So that's all fine. What's up? So, oh my gosh, Daddy in a caddy super chatted $2. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing that right now. I got $2 on YouTube. Can you people on TikTok top that? Thank you so much for that, Daddy in a caddy. Daddy in a caddy. You still there? Frame says time maxing. I don't know what you're referring to, but I do agree that you need to make the most of your time. Too many people say that they don't have enough time to do what they want to do. And I remember years ago, people would say, Monroe, the only reason you're able to do all the things that you do is because you don't have a full-time job or because you don't have kids to care for. Well, you know what? I had to care for my dad and my mom, and I still kept all my dreams alive. Now I have a full-time job. I'm still doing TikTok and YouTube, the things that I love. I still find time to read, as AJ knows, because I'm posting all the time on Instagram. I'm still working on my company, Breakdiving, by the way. It's a global not-for-profit personal growth community. Download our mobile app called Breakdiving, BREAKDIVING. Don't wait for opportunities to float to the surface. You want to dive in and make your own. We're a global community of winners. On the App Store and the Play Store, you can download our app. You can also go to breakdiving.io. Someone's calling me Mr. Torres. I guess Mr. Torres must have been his substitute English teacher. Is that what I look like? No, I did not get a haircut. Luke Aviation says, I'm in high school and learning how to invest. Luke, you are so fortunate to be living in the world we live in now when it comes to investing, because back when I was in high school, there was no internet, no cell phones, there were no apps. and there were no websites. If you wanted to invest, you had to have like $5,000 to $10,000 minimum, and you had to call an actual broker. And no one's going to talk to a high school kid. Today, you can download a mobile app. You can get your parents to create an investment account for you, and you could start investing in fractional shares. You could buy $1 of Apple every month, or $1 of the S&P 500, and wow, you were an investor as a high school kid. If I started really investing in 2016, 10 years ago. Can you imagine if I had started when I was in high school in 1991 is when I started high school? Oh my gosh, I would be a multimillionaire right now if I had started investing when I was your age. So Luke, talk to your parents and say, Mom, set me up with these apps, Robinhood, Stash, Acorns, SoFi, Capital, Opportune. There are so many cool apps that you can get that will help you. So I hope you're there, Luke. I hope you're listening. And by the way, we got to 21 likes on YouTube. We got the gold medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. We got over 2,000 likes on TikTok. Here's the other thing too: persistence. Every time I do TikTok live and YouTube live, I get more and more subscribers. And I realize if I just keep going, it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up. Before you know it, I have the feeling within 3 months, I will finally hit 6,000 subscribers here on YouTube. On TikTok, I think by summer, I should be up to at least 350 followers. But think about that. This could honestly be a retirement plan. If I keep doing this and I do it for the next 10 years, maybe I have enough subscribers on both of them that it's giving me an extra $300 a month consistently. Last year and the year before, I used to make like $400 to $600 a month on YouTube. I used to have like 200-300 people watching me. Algorithm changes, no idea why. But that's why I ended up starting TikTok as well, because I realized I can't rely on YouTube alone. Better to have multiple platforms. And it's why I'm trying to do the Instagram thing too. I don't really like it. I don't really understand it, but it's like diversification. You don't want to put all of your money into Google. You don't want to put all of your money into real estate. You don't want to put all of your money into your business. So what do? You spread it out. So same thing. I'm spreading out my investment from YouTube to TikTok to Instagram. And, maybe if one of them starts to fail, the other one will start to be taking off. All right, I'm going to look at the last few comments. I'm going to say goodnight. And okay. AG says, do you know who Mel Robbins is? Yeah, in fact, I have his book here. I haven't started it yet. I'm going to start it soon. It's called Let Them, the Let Them Theory. So it's on my agenda. I'm going to be reading that book soon. And let's do one more quotation from the book, Babystep Millionaires. Again, this has been Rose Reads. And this is a good way to end. And what he said here is, get your income up, your debt down, increase your savings, and invest regularly. I'm going to repeat that. This is what I want you guys to think about today. Get your income up, your debt down, increase savings, and invest regularly. So figure out how can you get a better paying job, or how can you increase the number of clients that you have if you get your own business? How can you get your debt down? Even put $10 a month towards it, 20. Make sure if you have credit cards, you're putting more than the minimum payment every month. Save more. Whatever you're saving this month, try to save 10% more this next month. And invest regularly. If you don't know where to invest, S&P 500, QQQ, and DIA. That's the S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ. And you can't go wrong with that. Again, I'm not giving you investment advice. I'm just giving you investment education. And you should definitely look at everything from your lens and from your point of view and given your particular financial situation. So thank you guys so much. Let me see if there's any comments. AJ wants to get that book too. AJ, has Mel Robbins written some other books that you know about? Why did you mention Mel Robbins? Answer before I sign off. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna no, I can't. I was gonna say I was gonna finish with a song, but it's 11 o'clock, and I don't think I should be. Well, I don't know. No, I better not. I don't want to wake anybody up. Oh, it's a woman? I thought it was a man. So that's good to know. I think starting business is the way to go, but it's difficult. Yeah, WAP. Yeah, more people in America have become millionaires through starting a business than anything else, but it's extremely risky. The IRS says 90% of small businesses have gone bankrupt within the first 3 years. But there are 10% that have not and that are taken off. So you should definitely consider starting a business, but it should be a part-time business. Don't put your life savings into it. Make sure that you keep your day job. Make sure you don't use your retirement funds. But absolutely, all of you should start a business. Absolutely. And I think whether you succeed or fail, you will learn a lot by doing so. All right. Thanks, AJ. Thank you, Not Today. Thank you, WAP. Thank you, Luke Aviation, Husafel, Frame Maxing. Thank you, Daddy and a Caddy, for the $2. I appreciate you making me feel like a professional YouTube live streamer. And for the folks on TikTok, thank you, Kay Lynn, calling me a handsome man. I really wish some of these people on TikTok or YouTube would ask me out on a date. All they do is compliment me, but no one asks Monroe out on a date. I really like that. All right. So have a great night. I don't know who are the two people here on TikTok. Here we've got, is Dr. Asa Brown there? Yeah, Dr. Asa Brown is there too. What's up, Dr. Asa Brown? Yeah, he says, good day. Dr. Brown, one of these days we're going to get onto YouTube and TikTok. We got to do that. We got to schedule that. You seem to have a more difficult schedule than I do, though. But I'm around this weekend if you wanted to do a TikTok live together or a YouTube live together. As I said, I always have more people on YouTube than I do on TikTok. And Luke says, AJ says, do you buy books or check them out at the library? All right, so AJ asked an interesting question. Do you buy books or check them out at the library? I used to always buy books. You can see. These are all books that I've bought because I love to write in them and take notes. And I never would go to the library because I couldn't write in them and I couldn't take notes. But I figured out a cool way to take notes using a library book. This is a book from the library. I go read it. If there's something that I want to underline, I use my phone and take a picture of it, of the page. Then you go to that photo and you can use your finger to highlight the words that you want. I press copy, and then I transfer them to a notepad document on my phone for that book. And so therefore, I can create all of the notes like this, and they're already printed. I don't need to type them. I don't need to copy them over. So I'm transitioning from the guy who spends hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars every year on books to the guy who first checks at the library to see if I can get it there. And only if the library doesn't have it do I then buy the book. And so now my mission is to avoid spending any money until, look at all these books I have. So I'm going to read all these first. These are all books that I bought. So I'm reading the books that I have and using the library because I don't want to. And if I have all that extra money now, I would probably spend like $100. I'd probably spend about $1,200, $1,500 a year on books. So That's $1,500. That's a premium economy flight for me to go to Shanghai, for me to go to India. And I'm going to China this year. I'm going to India this year. I think I'm going to go to China in the spring. And I think I'm going to go to India in the summer or the fall. And it's going to be financed because I don't buy books anymore. I am going to use the library. And what's cool about where I live right now is it's a block and a half from the library. So, I mean, I have no excuses now. Dr. Asa Brown says on TikTok, yes, we must make it happen. I've got a busy weekend, but I'll reach out. Dr. Brown shared the live. Wow, look at that. Thank you for sharing the live. I'm a book lover as well. Hey, Asa Brown, let me ask this. Do you got 3 minutes to come onto the TikTok live right now before, or are you busy? At least maybe we could talk and just say hi for 3 minutes for everybody here, if you want to. If not, we can plan it officially. AJ's WAP says funny. A young Bill Nye. Luke Aviation says, I appreciate your words. Luke, I'm happy to help. And am I dancing? I'm dancing. Steve says, you're such a clout chaser. And now we deleted that. I don't know what the heck that even means. AJ says China and India. Wow. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go back to China because I have so many friends there that I haven't seen in 5 years or 6 years since COVID. That's when I was last there in December of 2019, right before COVID started. And I have a lot of friends now in India because of breakdiving, and I cannot wait to go to India and see them, have some breakdiving events there. And I want to go to Goa, India, which I've heard is absolutely gorgeous. So that's pretty cool. Let me just see. I'm going to invite Asa Brown and see if he says yes. Asa Brown says, unfortunately, I can't at the moment. I promise we'll make something happen. Asa Brown, you keep coming up with excuses. Every time I invite Asa Brown to do a live stream, he's always got something going on. I can't do it at the moment. Maybe I'll be available later. All right, last chance this weekend. Let's make it happen. And I hope you guys will get to see Asa Brown. We'll probably do it on YouTube because I have more people on YouTube. Actually, Asa, why don't we do it once on YouTube and then once on TikTok? Because then maybe we can, maybe I'm curious to see. Maybe it'll be fun to do it on both. So AJ says, thanks for the live today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you'll go out live this weekend. AJ, yeah, definitely. By the way, it's only Tuesday. I might go live again later this week. And certainly let's go live this weekend. I owe all of you guys a Keno surf. He's been on vacation surfing, but he'll be back very, very soon. Dr. Asa Brown, great to see you. Thanks so much. We got 2,000 likes here on TikTok. We got 22 likes on YouTube. That's not bad, and I made $2. Huzzah! Guys, have a wonderful night. Let me turn off the TikTok first. Thank you so much. I'm ending now. Let's see. We got 4 new followers on TikTok, and we made 9 cents. It's more than I made last time. I made 4 cents last time. And cool. And we made $2 here on YouTube. And you know what's crazy? I would do this even if I didn't make money. It's so much fun. And I love inspiring you. I love helping you guys. Please go to breakdiving.io. Please download the Breakdiving mobile app. AJ, join Breakdiving. If you like me as much as I know you like me, you will love breakdiving. It's like lots of Monroes all around the world, and we're all helping one another. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care.